Hello guys, in today's video we're going to see the last part of chapter 2 of Can't Fear Your Own World. In this part we're going to continue what happened next after Squad 1 summoned Hisagi to their barracks. So what are we waiting for? Let's start the video. When he took out the device and reviewed it, a familiar notice to convene was displayed on its screen. Sorry. I'm being summoned by Squad 1. Getting called in with this kind of timing, huh? Well, I never. Are you also being monitored from above? Confronted with Ginjo, who speaks with bitter irony, Hisagi utters a reply. That might be possible if it were Captain Kuretsuchi rather than the Captain Commander. Still, regardless of whether I'm being watched or whatever, I won't stop until I carry out my duty. Upon leaving his seat, Hisagi finally speaks to Ginjo in a blunt manner. This doesn't necessarily mean that I take you completely at your word. I am also a Shinigami. I don't want to believe that my colleagues carried out a massacre in the human world with no justification. But I will definitely investigate the other side of this story too. Because while I am a Shinigami, I am also editor-in-chief of Seireitei Communication. You can count on me. Anyway, we'll talk again soon. And Ganju, please allow me to hear your story next time too. Next time, the drinks are on me. When he gave a final bow towards Kukaku, Hisagi departed the Shiba residence. Hearing the sound of a motorbike engine echoing from afar, Tsukishima, who had been silent up till then, raised his voice whilst his eyes were turned towards his book. That's rare. For Ginjo to actually tell that story to a Shinigami from his own mouth. Yeah. I've finally lost my edge, haven't I? After remarking jokingly, Ginjo stares into space with a serious look on his face. Well, he probably just strikes me as a no-nonsense kind of Shinigami. An awful lot like the Gate 13, huh? I guess I ended up wondering whether or not a guy like that would take my words seriously. Nah, maybe I just wanted someone to vent my frustrations at instead of Akataki, who's no longer here. At that point, Jericho spoke up, having emerged holding a plate. Oh. I have the snacks prepared, but it seems the Shinigami gentleman has left already? Yeah, I suppose he's a punctual guy. He was in an awful hurry. I see, that is a wonderful thing. After all, the flow of time is an absolute law that remains as unchangeable in the human world as it is in the Rukongai and Seireitei. If the Shinigami are anything of the gods they claim to be, then it is only natural to abide by it. Elsewhere from the Fullbringers who were having this conversation, Ganju posed a question to his sister, who continued drinking in an unusual silence. Say, big sis, what do you actually think? It's none of my damn business. I told you, didn't I? It's not something we can poke our noses into when we're not even Shinigami. I wonder if Big Brother knew something. This brother he speaks of is Shiba Kaien, who served as Akataki's lieutenant before the collapse of the Shiba clan. Although they were ousted from their position as nobles due to his death and the disappearance of Kurosaki Isin, who belonged to a branch of the main house, Ganju still considered his big brother the pride of the Shiba clan even now. Recalling the face of her older brother who was no more, Kukaku cast her eyes down to her sake cup whilst forming her words. Who knows? The Shinigami are only alert to external threats, all for the sake of protecting Seireitei. Just like it was with that Aizen bastard, when it comes to the Shinigami, they may just wind up becoming all kinds of thick-skinned against the scoundrels created by the Seireitei itself. 1 hour later, Squad 1, head office. Hey, you're late, Shuhei. Just how far did you have to travel? My apologies, Captain. I went up to Shiba Kukaku-san's place in West Rukongai to collect some material. Kukaku? Oh, Kaien's younger sister? When Hisagi enters the office, the captain of the 9th Division, Muguruma Kensei, is already waiting there. Kiraku then makes an appearance from the door at the opposite end of the room. Dear me, I'm sorry to bother the two of you when you're both so busy. Seeing Captain Commander Kiraku raise one hand in greeting with his usual rhythm, Muguruma spoke up. So? What's going on, Captain Commander? Is there any special reason as to why it's only the 9th Division that's been summoned? Yes, you could say that. It's kind of a matter that involves Seireitei Communication. Huh? If that's the case, then why am I here? Muguruma is the captain of Squad 9, but he is not involved in the editing of the magazine at all. Only a few days ago, Muguruma was recuperating in order to treat his zombified flesh, and for a long time he was in no condition to even get a grasp on the current state of Seireitei Communication. Well, as a matter of fact, I was told in person by the higher-ups that there is something they wish to formally announce in the Seireitei Communication. Therefore, I think it would be better to also run this by you, as the captain, just in case. An announcement? And by higher-ups, do you mean Squad 0? No, they were from the Central 46. The group of nobles behind the Central 46 to be exact. Saying that, Kiyaraku turns his eyes to Hisagi for only a moment before uttering the rest of the story. Actually, it turns out that one of the four great noble houses is to install a new clan head. The matter has already passed through the governmental district and, as a formality, the new clan head will have been instated by now, but very much at the request of this new clan head, it appears that he wants to publicize news of his own inauguration extensively throughout Seoul society. Damn it, so it's just your average self-absorbed noble again, huh? Kensei spoke, looking rather bored. Although there are exceptions such as Shihoin Yoruchi, basically, he knows only too well that both he and the aristocrats would never hit it off, and given that the subject also concerned Seireitei communication, Kensei was rapidly losing interest in the matter. Meanwhile, Hisagi continues the discussion with a look that said he doesn't quite understand. Around how many pages will it take? From the onset, the first reissue is still scheduled several months ahead, and it commences with a special feature which looks back on the protection of the Seoul King Great War, so having to balance it all against that it seems he wants you to produce a special edition extra. He said he wants it to be distributed widely, even as far as the Rukongai's special edition extra. If we have to get the publishing systems fully operational right away, we simply won't have the kind of budget for it. The inauguration of a new clan head among the four great noble clans is big news in itself. However, because the highest ranking being is the Seoul King, it is rare to go as far to issue special editions involving the four great noble clans, even on auspicious occasions or times of mourning. Of course, budgets that exceed expectations are sometimes required, and if it is to be widely distributed even up to the Rukongai, then there is also the potential for that alone to bypass the annual budget. Hisagi pondered how he could possibly get by on that budget whilst groaning in frustration, but Kiyaraku placed a hand on his shoulder with a plop and smiled. You can rest assured. After all, it appears that the budget will be completely handled by that noble clan. Really, if that's the case, he considered that it may be an opportunity to use the special edition extra as a pretext to promote the advance notice of the reissue and subscriptions to the regular edition of the magazine. In Hisagi's mind, he began to weigh up the benefits, the implications of which differed from just a moment ago. However, as if to pull him back to reality, Kiyaraku's smiling face then clouded over. And, about the new clan head of said noble family, is something wrong, Captain Commander? I'm speaking about Tokinada. Of the Tsunayashiro clan, you know who he is, right? The blood vessels in Shuhei's body pulsated frantically. Tsunayashiro Tokinada. Hisagi knows this name too. With the objective to bring Tosin Kaname back to their side after he once strayed onto the wrong path, for a time, Hisagi probed deep into the past of Tosin in an attempt to learn even a little more about him. The details of the incident in which Tosin's close friend was killed is outrageous. The story goes that her husband at the time considered the idea of imprisonment mere folly and that he continued to live his life comfortably without even receiving an adequate punishment. Hold on a moment. Surely that man is supposed to be in the lowest seat of the branch family? He has risen to the top. Factors such as the time Aizen massacred the Central 46 and the disorder born out of the last war all worked to his advantage, no doubt. Furthermore, last week the head of the Tsunayashiro clan and the family members around him were murdered by assassins, one by one. Captain Nanao, who had remained silent beside him up till then, raises her voice. Martial law had been imposed in response to the turmoil surrounding the Tsunayashiro clan assassinations. Nanao couldn't imagine it a good idea to carelessly reveal information to Hisagi, even though he held the position of vice captain. However, holding out a hand to quell Nanao's objection, Kiyaraku daringly continues to speak. I won't speak from conjecture. Nevertheless, it was Tsunayashiro Tokinada who completely annihilated those assassins by himself. With that meritorious deed in hand, he was then promoted from the lineage of the branch family. Conveniently, all members of the head house are no more, that's how the story goes. Contrary to Kiyaraku's opening remark, the suggestion in his words were the kind where anyone could decipher the true culprit behind the assassination scandal and his goals, regardless of who was listening to it. Of course, Hisagi was no exception, and he gradually raised his eyebrows in discomfort during the course of the conversation. I know about him too. I think you've already come to realize this, but he is the sort of man who can do that kind of thing without compunction. At those words, not only Hisagi but even Nanao and Kensei expressed a little surprise, judging by Akakiba Jinshiro, who maintained a deep silence. It seems he agreed with Kiyaraku's words too. Hisagi and Nanao were surprised because those words just now did not seem to reflect the speech and conduct of the usual Kiyaraku, who seldom speaks poorly of others. Perhaps having noticed this predicament, Kiyuraku let a wry smile laced with self-mockery play on his face before forming his words. Come now, not even I am a man of noble character. It's just a matter of one or two men who I don't see eye to eye with. Then, Kiyuraku's smile disappeared once again. He threw a question at Hisagi with a serious look in his eye. To sum it up, we have been instructed to issue a special edition celebrating his, Tsunayashiro Tokinada's inauguration. Hisagi-kun, can you do it? And this is the end of Can't Fear Your Own World Chapter 2. In the next video, we're going to start the Chapter 3 of the light novel. In the next chapter, we're being introduced to some characters that we don't know from the Bleach anime and manga. So watch out for it. Hope to see you on the next video, and have a safe day, anime fans.